ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Sorry for the small hiccup. We are just going live on YouTube also. So there was a small hiccup, don't worry. So basically, the capsule course from Extramarks is going to be completely free for anyone who would like to join for the next 3 weeks. And this entire capsule course, or as you all know as a bridge course, we are going to brush up all some of the previous concepts which you have studied in your 11th class. Now, why should we need to brush up? See, when we talk about a medical entrance or a NEET exam, it's not like we are going to study all the 12th syllabus and we are going to write, right? We are going to concentrate on more than 50 to 55% of the marks which you are going to get in your exam will come from your 11th. So your concentration should also be more on your 11th. As soon as you go for your 12th, there is no chance for you to relax and think, okay, 12th is done, I finished my board exam, everything will be okay. It won't happen like that. At the same time, some of those chapters which you are going to study in your 12th are directly related to your 11th class and some of them are indirectly related. So it is like a basics. You have to know this basics foundation to score more higher. So in this next 3 weeks, we are going to brush up these concepts and we are going to emphasize where you have to study, what you have to study, those kinds of concepts. Other than that, we will also try to explain to you how exactly you have to study to score marks. Just by reading 100 pages, 200 pages, it's not like you're going to get a higher marks, right? There has to be a particular methodology which you have to follow to score higher marks. In this capsule course, we will also discuss that. Now, what is so important about this capsule course which is going to happen in next 3 weeks? We can all attend 12th class directly when it starts in April, right? No. This is a small mistake all the students do. See, in your 11th, you have studied so many chapters in your botany zoology, right? As soon as you go for your 12th, the first chapter which you are going to start is called as a reproduction in organism when it comes to botany. In the same way, zoology, physics, chemistry, even they have their own different kinds of chapters. Now this chapter, when especially a botany, since I am a botany faculty, when you take this reproduction in organism chapter, you have to know certain things which you have studied in both plant and animals, that is both botany and zoology. Only understanding that, you will understand this first chapter. Even though chapter is small, easy, but without knowing what are the types of organism, we will not be able to understand that. So capsule course plays a major importance. So that 11th base, the foundation what I have been saying, it is going to laid by 11th. So in this entire 3 weeks, we are going to introduce you into all those fundamental concepts which you have studied. We have cleared your board exams, etc. But where you should concentrate more when it comes to your 12th exam. Those things we are going to, Now, if you just go back to some textbooks, or if you search in Google, or if you talk with some teachers, this is the one particular point all the teachers or textbook pinpoint. Even though we keep on saying both 12th and 11th both are equally important, but somewhere when you go for your exam, you can easily find out this little difference that always the marks or the questions which are asked from your 11th syllabus is 5 to 10% more compared to 12th. So the questions which going to come in your NEET exam will be slightly higher from your 11th syllabus compared to 12th syllabus. Sometimes it will be 50-50%, but majority of the time the 11th syllabus questions are higher because they are all basics, right? You have to know the entire base of those fundamental concepts. So that is where you have to concentrate. Now, what are the benefits of this capsule course? In these 3 weeks, we are going to revise majority of the concepts which are going to be carried forward into your 12th standard. And like I have been saying again and again, this crash course or this capsule course is completely free, which is going to happen for the next 3 weeks. So this revision is going to happen. It also helps you to understand how you have to analyze. Sir, we studied 11th fine, but we are going for the 12th class. How this 11th syllabus is going to help us in a 12th class? Isn't it that a big question? So here you have to remember that this 11th syllabus, how you have to analyze and apply in your 12th. 11th syllabus is more about building blocks. They are like a foundation. 12th syllabus is more about application. How you can use these particular concepts you have studied, you can analyze and you can go through the next So here it is going to bring an idea for you about this inter-concept relationship. Now, what is this capsule course, crash course? How long it is going to take? The duration of the capsule course will be for 3 weeks, and this duration will be completely free. Anyone, you can inform all your classmates or your friends or the person who you know from close by. Just by having a mobile internet, they can attend this crash course completely free of cost for everyone for next 3 weeks. And these classes of this crash course will be taken on alternate days: Wednesday, Friday, Sundays. So the class of this capsule course will be 3 days per week, and you are going to learn all the subjects: botany, zoology, as well as the chemistry, as well as the physics. All the three: biology, chemistry and physics. Now, every week you are going to have a classes on Wednesday from 4 to 8:45. Same way in the Friday and Sunday. Monday will be the test which we are going to conduct. So this will happen for all the 3 weeks. And Monday test you can attend, and even that will be free, and you can analyze how and where you are standing. And first week, this week will be little exception because Holi is coming and lot of festivals are going to be happening. So only this first week our crash course will be little different. That is, tomorrow we are going to have the first class. After that we are not going to have any class until second Monday. Okay, only for the first week. Remaining entire 2 weeks we will have a classes on Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and test will be on Monday. Done. But only for this first week, that is starting from tomorrow, we are going to have the first class tomorrow, that is 16th, and the second class will be on 21st, that is on Monday, and test will be on Tuesday. Only for this week, because of we have a Holi festival in the middle. Other than that, next 2 weeks will be regular classes. Now, I am keep on saying there is a test. At the end of the crash course, after every week of this crash course, Mondays there will be a test conducted. And this test consists of 10 questions. This test consists of 10 questions from each syllabus. Like if you have a physics, you are going to have a 10 question, chemistry 10 question, botany 10 question, zoology 10 questions. So basically you will be attending 40 questions. You will be attending 40 questions per test, and you will be allotted with a 45 minutes. So once this crash course weekly is done, you are going to attend the test on the Monday itself. This will be happening for every week. So you are going to take 3 tests. Understood? And this question will be directly from all your 11th syllabus which we are going to teach here. It's not like we are going to take some questions out of the syllabus which you, from different chapter, nothing. Whatever you are going to study in that particular 3 weeks, these questions are going to be directly derived from that particular 3 weeks questions. So attending those crash course classes is going to help you at the same time. And after these 3 weeks of the free crash course, or after these 3 weeks of this capsule course, or what we call it as a bridge course, our regular 12th class batches are going to start from 6th April. That is, our 12th class batches are going to start from 6th April. So from tomorrow onwards, today is just a orientation. I am going to give you idea what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks. From tomorrow onwards, our capsule course is going to start, which is completely free of cost, and anyone can attend for the next 3 weeks. After that, from April 6th, our regular 12th class batch is going to start. This is from the 6th April. Now, we will come to my subject, which is botany. What exactly we are going to study in botany? So that is an overall idea about a crash course. So you can all attend. Now, what is this idea about this capsule orientation about our botany? What are the things which we are going to study in the botany? See, when we take a botany, we can divide this botany into 11th and 12th. When we divide this botany into 11th and 12th, I've already told you that the 50 to 55 or sometimes 60% of the marks is carried from your 11th syllabus compared to the 12th. Now, I've taken here one of the picture where you can see that both the 11th and 12th chapters has been divided into units. If you open your NCERT textbook, you have seen the units name. Under units, we have different chapters. So we have taken all the units from the both 11th and 12th. And if you see from your 11th to the 12th, you can see here first diversity in the living world. If we take the entire NEET exam, as an 100% marks, now I am going to talk about this botany weightage. I am not talking about zoology. Okay, in botany, if you take 100 as a overall for a subject, only 10% of those marks come from your diversity in the living world. The first unit where you studied the living world chapter, biological classification, and do you remember plant kingdom, animal kingdom, those 4 chapters which comes under a unit diversity of living world will carry only 10%, means less amount of marks compared to other unit. But we can't remove it completely, we can't just neglect that thinking it is going to come only less percentage. Next is structural organization in plants and animal. When we are talking about structural organization in plants and animal, here we are talking about anatomy of animals, that comes in zoology, anatomy of plants, that is in botany, and what we call it as a morphology of a flowering plants. This also carries 10%. Next unit is cell structure function, that is where we studied what is cell, cell division, cell cycle, and biomolecules in zoology. These are the certain things we studied which carries 17%. Then comes plant physiology, which was the largest unit which we studied in our 11th standard, where we studied 5 chapters from plant physiology. That is transport in plants, mineral nutrition, then we studied photosynthesis in higher plants, respiration in plants, plant growth and development. So basically this side from year to year constitute our 11th syllabus. You can see even in the circle it is taking more than 50% of the place. Next comes for our 12th standard, which we are going to study after our capsule course is done. That is sexual reproduction in flowering plants, where you are going to study how exactly reproduction, how exactly fruit is produced, how exactly flower structure looks in a sexual. You have already studied about a morphology of flowering plants here. What is the structure of a flower, how the flower looks, what are the parts of the flower. Now in your 12th standard you are going to study how exactly that pollen grain and female gametophyte fuse, that is called as a sexual reproduction. So here you are going to study about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So it is like an advance. Now this is what I have been trying to say. In your 11th, you have already studied the structure. Now in 12th, you have to understand how exactly, these concepts are intertwined. Structures you have understood, now we have to see how exactly they are going to work. So this is what we call it as a sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Next comes genetics and evolution, where you are going to study about DNA, where you are going to study about different kinds of variations, Mendelian concept, chromosomal disorders, Mendelian disorders, those things which we are going to study in genetics and evolution. Finally, we are going to have one more unit completely reserved for botany, ecology and environment, where you are going to talk about broad terminology, biodiversity, how to conserve biodiversity, how to avoid pollutions, or how to come across ecology, how to treat ecology, what is niche biomes, those things you are going to study. And you can see here, this carries relatively lesser marks compared to the 11th syllabus. So basically, what you have to do is, when you are going to study, even though you have finished your 11th, somewhere in the corner of your mind you should remember all those concepts, so you can bring a connection between the 12th as well as the 11th. Without this connection, without bringing this kind of connection, it will be very hard to clear the NEET. So you should all have this clear idea what and how much you have to study in your 11th, what and how much you have to study in 12th, and how this 11th syllabus is completely related to your 12th syllabus. Now, other than that, I would like to add few more things before we are going to start our capsule course tomorrow. See, when we talk about a botany chapter, take any chapters, whether a botany, whether a physics, or whether a chemistry or zoology, take any chapters. When we are talking about this studying, what conceptual you have to do, majority of you, what you're going to do is take a textbook, read, or buy out the questions, or go for multiple choice, read what is the question, what is the multiple choice, those kind of things. But what you have to do is, when you are studying, The first and foremost concept you have to go for is concepts. See, I'm just going to give you one example how to study. See, when we take a plant structure, when we're going to take a plant structure, when we're going to take a plant structure, so this is our plant. Now, just by looking at this plant, we say that anything which we related to plant study is called as a botany, study of plants. Now, just by looking at this one picture, simple diagram of a plant, we are able to distinguish what are the things which we have to study based on the concept wise. See, if we take a concept, if we are going to study this entire plant structure, how it looks, leaf look broad, leaf is green in color, flower is yellow, plant is looking like a tree, shrub, herb. Just by looking at this plant, we can simply say that studying of plants from outer look is called as a morphology of flowering plants. Isn't it? Since it is a flowering plants, we are going to say morphology of a flowering plants. Done. Now suppose if I take this particular area and I am going to cut and I am going to study the internal structure. I am going to study the internal structure. Suddenly it becomes anatomy. Suddenly it becomes anatomy of the flowering plants. Just by outside and inside, we have divided them into morphology. See, how I look from outside is called as a morphology. A particular person, this is how I look. How I look inside is called an anatomical structure. This is the major difference between the morphology and anatomy. Now, what is the difference between those two? See, majority of the plants, they are going to have the same kind of cells, same kind of tissues, but the way they organized will be different. That we have already studied in anatomy of flowering plants. But how can this help us, sir? See, morphology will also, see, Niranjan sir looks like this, right? He is a dark, little brownish dark color. He has a curly hair. He is like this height. So these are all the characteristics you are going to explain when you are going to see me. If you see a particular plant, you are going to explain this is how the flower looks, this is how the leaf color looks. So there are particular characters you are going to pinpoint and you are going to explain the morphological character, isn't it? It's not like you will simply say that is a plant, go search. There has to be a particular characters which we are comfortable while explaining those things, which will make us understand better. Doesn't matter whether you remember this shape, remembering something else. Those things are left to you. But while explaining those things, you will remember that though this is how the plant looks. Now, what will this anatomy help? Outside is only enough now, but there are some plants who look same from outside, but inside they will look different. So that's when anatomy is going to help. Sir, both are fine which we have studied. If you remember how these anatomy structures and outside structures both are involved in helping us understand the plant physiology. If you remember, we also studied plant physiology. When we studied the plant of physiology, what are the things which we concentrate more? We studied about photosynthesis, we studied how plants breathe, we studied how plants produce food. But where exactly they produced? To know that, we have to know morphology and anatomy. We keep on saying ATP is released, we keep on saying some things went from here to there. But where exactly and how exactly all these concepts happen? To understand this morphology and anatomy of flowering plants, first we have to understand the overall characteristics of a particular plant. Once it is done, next we went for plant physiology, where we studied how each cells are interrelated, how the concepts are passing from one cell to another. We studied plant physiology. Done. But we are studying all this. We forgot about the basic nature. So then we also studied what are these cells made up of, each individual these cells. Then we studied cell, the unit of life. What are the things which are found inside these cells? We studied about the cell, the unit of life, the organelles we are done. Once it is done, we got a question, how exactly these cells produced. Then we studied, after the cell, the unit of life, suddenly we studied something called as a cell division and cell cycle. We studied cell division and a cell cycle, isn't it? So basically when we are studying one particular concept, we also studied so many. Even when you are studying physics, chemistry or zoology, everything is related, right? In physics, if you take a wheel, in wheel you are going to talk about a angular momentum, all those diameters, something different concepts by just taking one wheel. And if your apple is falling, you have to concentrate about gravitational, you have to talk about the velocity is coming, the density it is. Apple is falling, that is concept. But we have to talk about density, velocity, volume, all these are related to that particular apple. When you're talking about zoology, if I say in a broad term, there is a dog, there is a snake. But you have to know what and how they look, where exactly they are found. So all these concepts are interrelated. So when you are studying these concepts, make sure you are studying them in a manner of a story one after the other. See, your 11th and 12th syllabus are done in such a way, your 11th and 12th syllabus are done in such a way, they are like in a story. You may think, sir, why they are placed one after the other like this? If you ever sit after your 12th, before you are going for NEET exam, if you see, there is a story which has been told. In the beginning, in your 11th standard, we started talking about what is life in biology, isn't it? That is what we all started, what is life in biology, the first chapter. What exactly is a life? Living word, isn't it? The living things. What did we spoke there? What is life? What is the difference between a non-living thing and living thing? That is what we studied. As soon as that is done, we went for biological classification. We separated all the organisms based on their characters. Algae separate, bacteria separate, viruses separate, fungus, animals. We wanted to separate them. See how the story, first we learned living, then we come for microorganisms, etc. We learned how they look. Then we come for advanced plant kingdom, animal kingdom, there we studied about them. Once we done with plant kingdom, animal kingdom, then we came for what we call it as a structural organization. There we studied morphology, anatomy, how they look inside and how they look outside. Once it is done, we went for cell, the unit of life, where we studied what are these cells made up of, both in plants and animals. Then we went for what we call it as a cell division. How exactly these cells from millions and millions, billions and billions years ago, when there was only one cell which was formed in Big Bang theory. According to the Big Bang theory, we keep on saying that first only one single celled organism was formed. Now we have multi-celled organism. How exactly they are formed? All this we studied one after the other, isn't it? So like this, we keep on studying. Like this, we keep on studying one after the another. Finally, it builds a story for you to remember. What comes what after what. So this will give you an idea what, if you remember one thing, suddenly you can catch the next thing. That's why I tell, if I say root, you can easily contact with how this root takes water from the soil and pumps to the leaf. We are talking about root, but suddenly we are near a leaf. Why? Because this root is the one who is doing pumping job to the leaf, how the water has been transported. Isn't it? So these are some of the concepts which we have to learn when we are studying whether a botany or whether a physics or chemistry or zoology. You should remember they are all in the form of story. Now let us see what are the things which we are going to study in your capsule course. I have taken these concepts. So while coming from tomorrow when we are starting the capsule with the subjects, I want you all to brush up little and come. Because when I start teaching this, you will be remembering, sir, we studied this somewhere, but we don't know. I don't want that things to happen. So I just want you all to brush up those things and come before coming to tomorrow. So we are going to do these 9 concepts in the next 3 weeks. Every week we are going to talk about 3 concepts. And these 9 concepts are taken from your 11th syllabus, and we are going to talk about them again in your 12th class. These 9 concepts are taken from your 11th syllabus, and we will be talking about them again in your 12th class. First 3 concepts which you are going to study are called as or taken from a chapter called Anatomy of Flowering Plants. It is taken from Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Now you should all know that this chapter was removed from your board exams due to corona, but in NEET you are going to have the entire syllabus. There is no chapter, no concept has been removed from your NEET. You understood? At the end of your syllabus in previous year, we spoke about this chapter, we discussed. Some of you who are new, no worries. We are going to cover this entire concept in the next 3 days. Yukti, Chaitra and all, Jaishri and all, Ashwin and all, I think we have already covered this chapter. For rest of you, we are going to cover this concept even though it hasn't been done in your schools or outside. Nothing to worry. See, basically, first 3 days we are going to talk about this. When we take a plant, I told you we will take a section of this particular part. When we take a section, what are the cells which are found inside? Cells look like this, but what are they made up of? First class, we are going to talk about basics of plant tissue. What are these basics of plant tissue? And meristematic tissues. What are tissues? And what are meristematic tissues? That is what we are going to study in tomorrow's class. Once that is done, then we are going to study simple permanent tissues on the next class, which will be on your Monday. There we are going to study what is parenchyma, what is collenchyma, what is sclerenchyma, why collenchyma is absent in monocots, why it is found in dicots, and what is one coconut is made up of, what kind of cell is coconut made up of, what kind of cell is some mango fruit is made up of. All this we are going to study in simple permanent. Once this is done, we are going to talk about complex permanent tissues, where we will be talking about what is xylem, phloem, how exactly water which is found inside a soil is pumped to the leaf. This xylem and phloem, we keep on saying food and water conducting tissues, right? So how exactly this is happening, how exactly this food and water are conducted? There has to be particular way, right? So we are going to talk about the what we call structure of xylem and phloem. Once this is done, next we are going to take a concept from plant physiology, which is very, very important. From your botany point of view, maximum question comes from this unit from your 11th, plant physiology. Here we are going to talk about transport in plants. See, now we studied xylem and phloem in complex permanent tissue. Xylem helps in particular way, water transport. Phloem helps in food conducting. Now in transport in plants, we will see how exactly that is being transported. We studied in 11th how they are related, but again here we are going to brush up and give you idea how exactly it is transported. There has to be a way for this water and food to be transported, right? Those things we are going to study in transport in plants. Next we are going to get an overview of photosynthesis. We keep on saying plants are autotrophic. That means they produce their own food. Plants are autotrophic, they produce their own food. How exactly they produce their own food? Plants produce their own food by a method called as a photosynthesis. But simple word, we keep on saying plants are green, they take sunlight, they produce food. In a simple word, we will say like this. But what is the real concept happening there? So we will give you an overview of the why photosynthesis, how it is happening. Sir, how this is related? It is related. When we are going to take a 12th chapter, some of the concepts there will directly talk about photosynthesis. Then we will talk about respiration in plants. Respiration is how exactly plants are producing those ATP. Now food is produced from a plant. Now that food has to be broken down to produce ATP, to produce the energy. So how exactly those energy is going to be produced? So here we are going to talk about those energy release, all those concepts. Finally, we are going to talk about the basics of the cell, the unit chapter, and division. So what are cell? What are these cells made up of? And how exactly they divide to produce more cells? All those concepts we are going to study in basics of cell division, chromosome and ploidy. So these are the 9 topics which we are going to discuss from the botany point of view, keeping in mind of your 11th and 12th syllabus to make your transition easy between from your 11th and 12th class. Also, this concept which we have taken, they will be keep on coming in your 12th class also. We will be talking about meiosis, mitosis, what is chromosome, respiration, ATP, all these things again in your 12th class. So these are some of the concepts. So I would like to say again, this capsule course which is going to happen for the next 3 weeks is completely free. Anyone can join. Please inform all your friends to join. Take use of this. And our 12th class is going to commence from April. Okay, our 12th class is going to commence from April. And till then, all these classes will be free for the next few days. So I hope I have cleared an idea or given an idea about how this capsule course works. Any doubts from your side? Chaitra, Yukti, Ashwin, sir, I didn't attend any 11th classes, sir, because I joined this year only. I can understand everything in this capsule. Yes. Chaitra and Yukti, yes, you all are new, nothing to worry. Once you all start our regular classes, whatever the recordings we have done from the past year, all those will be available for you. You can go back and watch. If not, nothing to worry. This capsule course is going to cover close to 50%, more than 50% of your syllabus. We will try to cover. And during taking your 12th classes, in the middle, if some concept arises, we always go back to your 11th classes and teach you, then only we will go forward. You got the point, Chaitra? Like, for example, here we have a mitosis and meiosis. In your 12th, suddenly we are going to study reproduction in flowering, reproduction in organism, first chapter. I will say, this cell is giving mitosis, this cell is doing meiosis. But you don't know what is mitosis, meiosis because in previous year you haven't attended. Nothing to worry. There we are going to explain to you what is mitosis, how these two cells forms, how it came, how these four cells come, how meiosis formed. All those things will be repeated non-stop, okay, until you understand. And all the time in our classes, our chat section will be open. So every time you have a doubt, you can write in the middle of the class. And after every concept, we will be asking any doubts like today. So you'll be asked. From tomorrow, don't miss any class. Understood, Chaitra, Yukti and others? Don't miss any classes. You will get an idea of what are the things which we are going to study, how to study. And since some of the concepts which we have taken are removed from your PU syllabus or your school syllabus, if you remember. For example, this entire chapter was removed. This chapter was removed, transport in plants. But these chapters are not removed in your NEET exam. So you have to be very good in them because minimum 4 to 6 questions will come from this 4 particular topic only. That means 24 easy marks you can score. One question carries 4 marks in your NEET. So easily you can score 24 to 80 marks, 24 to 28 marks from this particular 4 topics itself. Understood? Yukti, Chaitra, any more doubts on the capsule course, how it is going to work and all? Ashwin, you have any doubt? Don't worry, you have missed your previous year, nothing to worry. We'll make sure all those concepts are going to be brushed up. Okay, like I've already told you, inform your friends also. Okay, let them attend, let them also get the benefits. Okay, inform all your friends. It is free for the next entire 3 weeks. Anyone can attend all these concepts. Easy. Okay, students, all have a happy day. I am going to meet you again tomorrow. From tomorrow, all the classes are going to start from 4 p.m. Okay, classes will be till 8:45. Okay, my class will be tomorrow at 7:45. I will be talking the first concepts, basic of plant tissue. If you cut a plant, what are those cells you find inside? How they have been differentiated, how they are different from each other. All these things we are going to study in tomorrow's class. Till then, all stay safe, students. Have a happy day. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, over. I was just texting you. Just now. End it.